Hi everyone. Okay, welcome to my After Effects class online. What we're going to do today is look at the 3D space in After Effects, which is much like the three-dimensional space in any application, but we're working in After Effects with 2D layers. So by following this tutorial, I'm hoping that you will be able to understand a little better how to construct a project in 3D. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with my first, I might do this a few times, but I'm going to start off with elements just created here in After Effects. Let's just start from the beginning. So you've got a new composition that you will, you've got a new project within which you will create compositions. So here's my project. I'll just go File, New Project. File, New Project. And then within my project, I'm going to create a new composition. I can do that a number of ways. I can create a composition here. I can create a new composition by right-clicking in here, going New Composition. I can go up here and create a new composition, or I can just go Command N. And here it's asking me what size do I want it to be. I want it to be 1920 by 1080. I'm happy with 24 frames a second. As I've said before, that's a really nice number to work in because it's really easy to divide into 2 or 3 or 4. And it's also cinema frame rate. Right now the duration is 5 seconds. I'll just change that to 6 seconds and 0 frames. Let's get started. Right now it's got a black background. I'll go back to comp settings. Remember, composition settings is Command K. It's a really good one to have in your notes if you don't have that one. So Command K. There's my background color. I can just change it to another color. I'll just change it to a dark gray. All right, and I'm going to create some shapes in here. I'm going to do some circles. Just going to do an ellipse. I want to center that anchor point, don't I? So that the position and rotation and scale are defined from that anchor point. I can just use the pan behind tool to do that. Or if you're on one of the bigger, older keyboards, it's Shift Command Home. I haven't figured out how to do that on my little keyboard, my little new Mac keyboard yet, but I'm just going to use the pan behind tool to put that in the middle. Now I want multiple circles, I want multiple elements to work with, so I'm going to draw another one. But this is something first timers in After Effects get confused by this, and it is if I want to draw a second shape here, then if I have the layer selected and I draw it again, it draws another shape on that same layer. You see there's 2 ellipses now sitting in the same layer, which if I want to create animation independent with these 2 objects independently of each other, it's difficult to do because they're on the same layer. I would have to dig into here and put keyframes in here, which is not ideal. That's not really where you want to be doing that. So I'm just going to, I can cut that ellipse from that layer, deselect. Actually, no, I can't. Oh, yes, I can. No, see, it doesn't like it. So once you've got an ellipse or a shape on one layer and you want to do another shape layer, just make sure you deselect, which means just simply clicking away, click away here, or click away down here, or you can also go Shift Command A to deselect and then draw another one. So you see now I'm drawing the second shape on a new layer. Okay, so I'm going to center that thing there. I'm going to change the color of these things. I want it to be, I'm going to use lights in this exercise. So I think you'll find that lights, learning how to use lights, well, you'll get a better result if you work with lighter colors. So if I try and put a light on a dark purple like that, it's going to be harder for you to see what's happening. So I recommend for this exercise you guys do like maybe 3 circles or whatever shapes you like, just on using some slightly lighter colors. I'm going to also do a rectangle, which I want to put behind the other things. So this one I'm going to do like a light gray. I'm going to put it at the back. So Shift Command square brackets. Same as Photoshop and Illustrator. There's I'll just change the color of it. The red one there is my rectangular shape. I can move it in the hierarchy of layers with Command square brackets or Shift Command square brackets for front and back. Same as Photoshop Illustrator. Okay, so I've got now 3 circles and a rectangle. And I'm going to save this, by the way. So let's go webinars. I'm going to say 3D camera exercise. That's my new folder, project folder. And inside there, I'm going to do an After Effects folder. And I'm going to do I'll just do After Effects for now. Okay. Now I want to turn these layers into 3D, right? So how do I do that? Oh, center these. How do I turn these into 3D? It's really easy. Just go down here in these columns, which are editable, by the way, in After Effects. I can turn these columns on and off by right-clicking in this menu at the top. So if I couldn't see something like mode, I wanted to change the mode, but I couldn't see that option there, right-click columns. You can turn menu items on and off like that. So right now I can't see the 3D buttons, right? Which may be the case for some of you. If that's the case, then right-click in here. I believe it's switches you want to have on. Yeah, there you go, switches. So now I want to simply turn that little 3D cube button on like that. Okay, so now you should be able to grab these layers like that. Okay, so now you see my layers have 3 arrows on them. They've got, whereas before, they've only got this bounding box. If I go to the position settings with the 3D layer switched off, let's just go to position. You see I've got 2 numbers. I've got that number and that number there. As you see, as I move this pink circle, my 2 numbers changing there just are defining X and Y. So that's obviously X, and that's Y. When I turn on the 3D button, now I get 3 numbers for position. So that's X, the red one, Y, green one, and then I've got Z, which I can use to pull the layer towards my point of view or push it away from my point of view in what's called Z space. So think of Z space as depth. So if Y is vertical, X is horizontal, and Z is depth. Okay, let's just turn that back on for all layers. But how does that help me? Not really much at this point. If I move that circle towards me, really I'm just making it bigger from my point of view, which I could achieve exactly the same result by doing scale, right? Still the same place in the layer hierarchy, it's just bigger. So now in order to see the difference, I need to turn on a camera so I can actually move around in this three-dimensional point of view. So to add a camera, I go layer, new camera. Right now, what I really want you to look at in this bunch of settings is really just in here where it says preset. I want you to choose a focal length. Now think of maybe 35 or 50 millimeters are roughly similar to the human eye. And if we go down to these smaller numbers, we get a wider angle lens or a shorter focal length, same as on a camera, on a physical camera. And as you get to a longer focal length, you get more of a telephoto effect. So think around this area here between 28, 35 and 50. I'm just going to do a 35. That's roughly like your eye. And there's my camera now sitting as a layer on the top.